Hey, Soul Tribe. Tracy here with Sweet Spot e-magazine. I was trying to adjust that little space heater before it gets smoking in here. Thank you so very much for the likes, the shares, views, subscribes, the comments, donations, everything. I appreciate it all. Let's ring the bell. Let's go ahead and clear out the energy, and then we'll just see what the message the Spirit has for us this early Monday morning or whenever you happen to see this. You know, no matter what someone has done to us, hey Alicia, we always have to have compassion for them. Because even though they didn't show us compassion or any empathy when we were going through, when they're going through, we still have to show them some compassion and empathy. Doesn't mean that we have to jump into the fire with them, because then that's taking on some of their karma. But we must have compassion and empathy. I feel like someone is deserving of that around this time. Bottom of the deck. Ooh. Forgiveness. Soul forgiveness. Hi, Reborn Again Dynasty. And Alicia. Yeah, somebody, they are looking for some soul forgiveness, but first they're going to have to start with themselves. They have to forgive themselves of how they mishandled you, how they thought it was okay to treat you, to disregard the fact that you were actually a living, breathing human with a heartbeat. Hola, Marcia. Buenos dias. Thank you. Oh, okay. Hi, Ayana. Because they now see the truth. They now see the truth of this entire situation. And, it's like they allowed their ego to guide them. They allowed somebody else who they perceived to have something more than you to bamboozle them, to like talk them into something that this person couldn't do or wasn't even willing to do, wasn't even thinking of doing. See, somebody needed to use their own intuition to find out or to understand that somebody was full of bullshit. Hey, Addie, grand rising to you, sister. It's time for someone to level up. Not just level up, but it's also time for someone to grow up emotionally. It's time for someone to grow up spiritually. This person, they had to leave what was or who was harming them all along. See, they looked at this demonic energy as if that was help that was coming in. That wasn't help. That was someone that was planted to hurt you, to destroy your life, to get you off of your path, to make you unhappy, to make you spiritually unhealthy. And this is why it is so important not to listen to what someone else says, but to listen to what our own intuition says. This person is now having a radical rebirth because they watched you go through a radical rebirth. When they left you out in the cold, when they felt like you didn't matter. They thought they were going to see you crumble, but instead they saw you ended up shining. You started shining after you had to heal yourself alone. But see, this person is coming in for you to help heal them too. You know what they say, what's good for the goose is also good for the gander? This person didn't think like that. But now they're starting to think like that, like, okay, well, what if I ask for help and they say, well, where were you at whenever I needed the help? What did you do whenever I was the one that was in this situation? We still have to have compassion. It's okay to talk to that person, but it doesn't mean that we have to, once again, jump into the fire, because we jump into the fire to help them. We don't know how hot that fire is. And why burn ourselves up trying to save someone else, because we're jumping into the fire and we're like, here, get on my shoulders, get out the fire. They get out the fire and you thinking that they're going to reach back to help you out because you just helped them out. They're going to be like, thanks and good luck. You saved yourself once, you can save yourself again. No, enough of that. Hey, K-Hypsee, have fun at work. See, this person is mad. They're mad at themselves because they didn't speak up, because there was something wrong with their throat chakra. But we spoke up. There were a lot of hidden emotions. There were a lot of hidden conversations, hidden motives, hidden actions. There were a lot of things that were hidden that this person chose not to speak about. And that pleasure that they thought that they were going to have, that how it's all good on their side and it sucks to be you, it's not pleasurable anymore. Now it don't suck to be you. Hey, J. Mike. See, this person is understanding that when they let you go, they thought that they was going to be good. Come on in, Sasha. Come on. But really, they're not. They don't have that joy. Let me open up the door for my baby. Come on, baby. Come on. Lay down. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Stay. See, now they have to surrender. Or they're being asked to surrender everything. Or they're being forced to surrender everything. But they never thought that they was going to have to be in this position. Everyone on the face of this earth, everyone has their time and has a season. So this person, it's like they was living out loud. They was being boastful. They was being egotistical. They were acting very arrogant. They didn't have any problem speaking against you. I don't care what goes on. I don't give a shit. They should have known better. They should have did this better. They should have. But they forgot that they was going to have that season as well. They was going to have to go through that same thing. And now they found out that person that told them, well, leave that sucker there. Leave that bum there. Look at what I got. Look at all I do. And now they find out that was all a lie. Hey, Malcolm. That was all a lie. This person had to get grounded. And whenever I'm saying grounded, they were actually knocked down a peg or two or three or 20 or 30 or 40 or 100. Just like they tried to knock you down a peg or two because they thought that you felt like you was, high and mighty. But you didn't. See, there's a difference between being arrogant and being confident. You were confident. Hi, Reverend. This person now is awakening to the fact that there's something different about you. You don't showboat. You don't feel like you have to put on airs. That's not you. That's never been you. You've always been a humble, grounded, realistic individual. They believe you now about your divine lineage. They believe you now about your gifts. They believe you now about your purpose. You know, and they're looking at you. They're looking at everything about you now as everything that they had, they're losing, being forced to surrender. And they're looking at everything that you're going through. And you're not only are you receiving good fortune, not only is the Lord blessing you over and over and over again, but everybody says, oh, that's that. Yeah, you getting good juju. See, everybody was sitting here talking about how much of a witch you were and how this and how that, but you weren't. You were living in your purpose. See, they thought that when God blessed you, it's because you were standing over some cauldron doing this shit, royal toilet chapel, whatever the fuck that shit is. That wasn't it. This person knows that was not it, but yet they allowed themselves to go down that slippery slope. And now that they are at the bottom of that slope, they're looking up like, how did I get here? Believing the lie. Jumping on the bandwagon. J. Mike, are we okay? J. Mike, are we all right? Hi, the soul archetype. Morning. Now this person is feeling shame for what they brought upon themselves. For everything that they put out there is coming back. The harvest, what they're harvesting, they're not proud of that. Not proud of that at all. They're seeing now how brazen that they were. How they thought that they would never be in your position. How they thought that, oh, what? I'll never have to go through that. Then look at them now. Whether it's being homeless, displaced without a job, you know, having to sleep some nights in your vehicle or sleep some nights on the street, having to couch surf, having to ask somebody, can you please feed me? I don't have money for food, or having the gas cut off in the wintertime. See, there's somebody pride themselves on that ever, only to find out, guess what? They are experiencing this too. Hi, the soul archetype. Hey, Queen Memoirs. See, now they're realizing that these people or this person wore not just one mask, several masks. They was never the type of person that they claimed to be. They claim to be better than you, more powerful than you, more successful than you, more this, more that, but they weren't. There was nothing like you. They can't even compare to you. It's nothing that they have that can match you because you were true. You were authentic. You were honest. You love God. And you were an individual who was not about to believe somebody just because somebody said, oh, I can do this, I got this, and da-da-da-da-da. No. Not only did you didn't just listen to somebody's words, you watched their actions. There's a big difference. See, now this person, now they want to be connected to you, you know, And they're beating themselves up because their own intuition told them to stay connected to you. But like I said, this person, they had these pie in the sky dreams, like the person that has $200 in their pocket, and they just know because they was in some of their school plays 20 years ago, when how they used to be the lead in the school plays 20 years ago, and they was living in a smaller town, but they had $200, and they're gonna drive to Hollywood so that they could be a star. And then they find out that $200 was enough to feed them for 3 days. And then in that car that they was trying to sleep in, that shit got stolen whenever they went into a quote unquote audition. And then that quote unquote audition, they was expected to do something strange for a little bit of change. And then they come out and they're like, well, wait a minute. And somebody says, just call your insurance. What insurance? See, they made these type of stupid ass mistakes. And they swore that they was never going to be in the same position as you. Ever. Only to find out that they're worse than you. Because they wasn't thinking. They wasn't thinking straight. They was thinking pie in the sky. They listened to that liar that said, come on down. Come on now. You don't need nothing. Yeah, you don't need no clothes. You don't need no shoes. I got you. I got you when you get here. They're realizing they was betrayed. They was lied to. They was bamboozled. Like I said, this person, they thought that they was getting ready to alchemize everything, that everything was just going to be at the tips of their fingers. No, this person is realizing that in order for them to have manifested anything, they needed to put in the hard work. Just like you did. But see, the hard work that you were doing was going unnoticed. Hold on, y'all. Let me turn this little heater off. Oh, good Lord. The hard work you were doing was going unnoticed because you wasn't trying to bring attention to yourself. You was trying to keep your head down. You was trying to just be thankful to God. You was trying to just, say, okay, let me keep my eye on the prize. Let me, watch the sparrow. Let me just continue to thank God, and let me not be bragging because, hey, I already went through the worst and I made my decision. This is as low as I'm going to go. They thought that you was just being like acting like, like you deserve less than. They didn't realize how much hard work you was putting in the background. Hi, get off my shit. How are you? It does get better with time. They didn't realize that you was actually putting in the work. You was doing the damn thing, but you was doing it with integrity. You were doing it with honesty. You were being authentic. You were being responsible, emotionally responsible, financially responsible, spiritually responsible. You wasn't trying to just step on everybody or anybody's toes. You wasn't sitting there trying to sit here and go, oh, trying to think that if you block somebody else out, you was going to get their spot. No, no, no. The shit don't go like that. Hey, C-Bones. This is why you was getting those miracles. This is why it looked like you was just, what are you doing to get this? Well, how did they get that? It seemed like somebody, like on the outside, like you was doing something nefarious, but you weren't. Because that person was looking at all these shiny things that meant nothing. They weren't looking at the inside of you. They didn't care about the inside. They was just worried about what everybody thought about the outside. This is how they sabotage themselves. They hurt them. So they never hurt you. Hi, baby. Oh, what is that? Baby. Hi, Yoda baby, speak. Uh, how are you? See, this person resisted you. They resisted everything about you. They swore up and down they don't want to be nothing like you. Nothing like you, because the people that were around this person, they were jealous of you. They had that envy. They had that secret hate. These were secret enemies that were around this person, and they were not even bright enough, wise enough, or awake enough to understand that. They just listened to everything that somebody said and was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, because you listen to something negative that's being spoken about somebody so much that all of a sudden, you have been conditioned and you start to believe that bullshit. This is where somebody didn't realize the importance of being a leader and never, ever, ever a follower. They didn't realize that it's okay to be your own individualistic type of person. It's okay to not think like the crowd. It's better that you don't think like the crowd. And in fact, it's better that you just think like yourself. Even if 10 people are saying, we hate that bitch, it's okay for you to say, well, you don't like them, but I do. I can't stand how they. Well, it don't bother me. Why does it bother you? See, somebody wants to be with you because you made them feel safe. You made them feel accepted. You made them feel good about themselves whenever they was trying to make you feel bad about the type of person or who you are. And there's nothing wrong with who you are, because God created only one you. And God wanted you to be you. He didn't want you to be like Karen or Fred or Joe or Roger. God said, do you, be you, be proud of who you are. And also be proud of where you come from. Do you know how many times there are these single parents? It don't have to be just a single mama. It can be a single daddy too. But that are raising their children. And it's not easy, especially if you are a single parent only with one income. It's not easy. I don't care what anybody says. And those people that sit there and look down on these single parents, it's because they've never been a single parent themselves. They never had all the responsibility on them. Even if they was getting child support, you still getting child support. We're talking about the parents that did not get any child support. They had to do it on their own. But see, somebody was sitting there like, oh, you know what? I don't like how I grew up, and we was poor, and my mama didn't do this, she didn't do that, she didn't get me this, she didn't get me that, because she couldn't afford it, motherfucker. Grow the fuck up. But yet they want to sit here and listen to somebody else. See, that I would never do that. You just let her go. Let them go. Let them. If they want to be nasty, let them be nasty. If they want to do this, let them do this. Somebody was doing that type of shit. Not being proud of where they came from. Thinking that they was going to get this level over here, and they was just going to take off and leave you right there. Bye. Because it's that same person that wasn't proud of where they came from, that didn't respect the single parent that raised them, that sacrificed for them, that did the best that they could do for them. It's that same person that chose to let that single parent fend for themselves. That's the one who's finding out the hard way that you need to always be proud of where you came from. That's something that you don't ever hide. That's nothing to ever be embarrassed about. That's a badge of honor, baby. Especially if you went through the thick and through the thin, through the fire and everything else. Now somebody is watching this same type of person. Now somebody's watching you, how you are creative, how you are creating the life that you want and the life that you deserve. And they shocked because they don't have that anymore. When they had it, they didn't appreciate it. And so God said, I gave it to you. Okay, I'm going to take it away. You don't want this? I'm going to take it away. And I'm going to find somebody else who would love to have this type of person in their life. That's loyalty. See, you was who you was always going to be. You never tried to pull the wool over nobody's eyes. You never tried to act like you was this. You never did all that. You knew that you only had yourself to prove something to, not the crowd, nobody else. Because did nobody else prove nothing to you? They never brought you nothing. They never gave nothing to you. They just sat there and talked about you behind your back. See, this person, they thought that they was going to get their desires that met, with this lustful action and stuff like, oh, well, I watch all of these people and this is how they're doing it. Do it like that then. And they did. And now they're the ones that are experiencing the grief. And just as He would have it, God is blessing you right in front of their eyes. Not just them, but everybody that spoke against you. And God is letting everyone know that what you went through was not by mistake. Everything that you went through was by design, so that they can look at the end product and see that you are worthy. That's why you're getting all your needs met. All of your wishes are coming true because you know what? You stay true to yourself. You stay true and loyal to what God was trying to instruct and tell you. And you had this fearless love that could nobody take from you. You loved God. You loved yourself. You loved them. And all they chose to do was love themselves. Ain't your problem. Ain't your issue. The same way you had to go through, this person has to go through too. The same struggles. Oh, they're going to look at you differently now whenever they are going through them struggles. Like I said, somebody is waking up to the fact that they need to forgive. They need to forgive themselves for ever thinking less of you. They got their nerve. They got their nerve. What's the message, Spirit? Hi, Create. How are you? Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. What's the message, Spirit? It's like, hey, there is not a time when somebody don't go through something. Not a time when somebody, even the people that got all the multi-million, billion dollars in the world, they go through something too. You see, there's not ever a time whenever you have to allow your lust to override your common sense, or your lust to override what God said that God is going to give you. Because the devil can't do it like that. The devil's going to trick you every day and in every way. Hey, Shaylin, how are you? See, somebody, they had to be taken down a peg or two so that they could find out what life is truly about. And it's not about just having all this, having people adore you and having money and flossing your money and looking down on something. That's not life. Because the same people that you look down at one day, you're going to have to look up to the next day. God will make it like that. And now this person is upset because they needed to be humbled. Now somebody is upset that they needed to be humbled. Sorry if y'all can hear my stomach, y'all. Kind of embarrassed. But see, now somebody they want to speak up to everything that they think that you couldn't see, or they think that you didn't know, or they think that was behind the door or in the shadows. You knew it all along. You knew it. You just didn't tell them you knew it. But you wasn't going to worry yourself about something that, you know what, that person is going to have to learn on their own. And trust me, they are learning today. They are learning. Talk about a lesson. They're learning this big lesson. It's not about what you have. It's about who you are. And if you have somebody that's 10 toes down for you, why give that up for somebody that won't jump in the fire to help you? And now they expect you to jump in the fire whenever they resisted you. Can they get mad because you tell them, I'm good? Can they get mad because you ask them, well, where's so-and-so? What's so-and-so doing? See, they want to get with you now because they know that you have some good energy coming in. You have blessings coming in. That you have manifested so much. You started with nothing, and now look at you. Happy as a motherfucker because you got a whole lot of something. And this whole time they thought that you was counted out. They counted you out too soon. You never counted yourself out. They counted you out too damn soon. What's the message, Spirit? See, that time, that season of them talking all that big shit, talking all that yang 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 yang, that shit is over. That shit is over. Now they don't want to be on that soapbox where they have everybody sitting around listening, they talking and they showboating and they doing this and they doing that. That shit is over. Because they can't say nothing. Everybody see who you are. They see you creating. You could be creating businesses. You could be creating, whatever you're creating is a better life for you. And they sitting on the outside looking in, trying to figure out how can I bring this olive branch? How can I come and make it seem, I just want us to get together, Like now they trying to give back to you whenever they took a whole lot of taking. Because now they feel how empty they feel without your love. Because they didn't find that out in the streets now. Them streets, they don't love nobody. Them streets, they don't love not a damn person. All the streets want to do is make somebody lose it all. They're finding that shit out the hard way. Bottom of the deck. I'm telling you, now somebody want to bring you the olive branch. Can we just forget about this whole little snafu? I don't know what I was thinking. I know that you walked away, but I want to come back. I want to extend the olive branch so you can come back. Only because, well, I might need a little bit of help financially, and nobody loved me like you do. They should have thought about that shit when they was doing too much. See, you don't think about that shit until the well not just ran dry, but was covered up in sand. And you don't even know where that damn well went. You think it used to be over there, but you're not really sure if it was over there or if it was over more here. Because you used to be able to see it, but now that that well ran dry, you don't even see the bucket that was going down into the well or the little hand pulley thing that you was using to bring the well water up. That shit is gone. Now somebody feel really left out in the cold. Their money is funny. Ain't nobody trying to be there to help them. And it's winter time out there. Where's that car? Where's the car? Whereas you were investing in you, in your own self, in your connection with God, in your spirituality, and being the best that you could do, and how you needed to build yourself up, not by listening to everybody else, because everybody else wasn't going to be there to help you. How you listen to God on what you need to do. And somebody else that was like, hey, I know how to do this. I know how to do that. And they thought that they could manifest everything. I can do all this. I can do all that. Blam. I guess they couldn't do shit, huh? Hey, oh, I made to be one. Good morning. I guess they couldn't do anything because these magic tricks blew up in somebody's face. And they watched you work. They watched you get it out, like they say, get it out the mud. They watched you, enhance your skills, become a master at whatever it is that you're doing. But yet they want to sit there and act like you wasn't doing shit. And now you're just sitting back waiting because you know that your wishes, your true heart's desires are coming in. You're about to be blessed. And where was this person at? Where's this person at now that said, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. Well, see, somebody didn't realize there was a whole fish in that cup while they sitting there trying to listen to somebody they thought had money. That person didn't want anything except control, except to keep their foot on somebody else's neck. And they thought that, if I need anything, I can go straight to this person. I can get this. That person said, oh, damn, I ain't got nothing for you. But I am going to say good luck because them streets is tough. The whole time you told this person the truth, you was above board, you was honest, you displayed integrity, you was responsible, and now you are receiving the blessing because you already went through all your lessons. You didn't blame anybody else. You took it on the chin. You took it on the chin and kept moving on. And now this person is wondering why they didn't follow in your footsteps. Wondering why they just didn't, why didn't I just go my own separate way? Why didn't I step out on faith? Because you allowed yourself to be lied to. Even when you probably even told this person, do you think that you're being manipulated? Nobody can manipulate me. I am a manipulator. Or whatever. Only to find out that this person was being manipulated because they was doing the same shit that you had watched other people do. And you knew that wasn't how they was before. So now this person and you're both receiving exactly what you deserve. And you just so thankful, confirmation. You just so thankful that you planted them good seeds and did those good deeds. Whereas you trying to help this person, talk to this person, encourage this person, keep this person uplifted, keep this person's eyes on the prize. But this person was like, I don't need all that bullshit. Now they're watching you proceed forward in your car. And what do they have? I hope they at least still have their tennis shoes. I hope those shits wasn't taken off whenever they laid down on the street to go to sleep. Hi, Antoine. How are you, sweetie? You know? I hope they still at least have that. But you fought your own personal battles. You fought your own personal battles to get where you are at today. And this person, like I said, they still, didn't see you, didn't appreciate you, didn't want to help you. This is somebody that felt, they sacrificed. They watched you sacrifice to raise them. They watched you sacrifice. You could have had a whole different type of life. But for them to watch you sacrifice to make sure that you were giving them the best of what you had, they felt like that wasn't enough. And then instead of them sitting here, they see that you got these enemies, these people that's lying about you. Instead of them saying, no, that's not the truth, they jumped on board. They was like, you know what? Yeah, I sure didn't get a PlayStation every Christmas when I was growing up. And I sure didn't get no fucking Jordans and this and that and the other and whatever designer jeans and jackets. And they didn't even take me to Hawaii, not once on a family vacation. They took me to the damn mall and said, okay, I have $200. We're gonna shop on the clearance rack, but we're gonna make sure that you got some clothes. Well, I want this. But baby, that is $78. If you spend one shirt, $78, then you're not gonna be able to. We gotta go over to the clearance rack. I don't want no fucking clearance clothes. Now they wish they had some money to get some clearance clothes. See, they discounted how you was protective over them, how you was protective over you. They juggled you. They juggled you thinking that you wasn't offering enough. But now this shit is turning around. They wondering how they missed that shit. Because see, them same motherfucking goody goo goo people that talk down about you is now talking down about them. Because they going through. They tried to get you. But instead, you rose to that motherfucking occasion. And you let everybody know, oh, I am unfuckwittable. You can come if you want to. See, this is the person that now realizes they should have stayed with you. They should have protected you. They should have been on your side. They should have, held shit down for you. They should have been 10 toes down for you. Because everything that they sat there and said that you would never accomplish, you would never do, and how they would never do this and they would never do that and they would never follow in your footsteps. It's funny how things come back around. How they said that you needed psychological help because you was at the end of your rope. Not only did you sacrifice for them, but then this person is sitting there dogging you behind your back, conspiring with others, lying on you too. And yes, it looked like you was going through, like you was about to lose it because you knew what the fuck was going on. They would lose it too. When you gave everything that you had to them and they repaid you like they did. Now they realizing how this group that they thought they was part of, the cool group, had them come up against you, the chosen one, the one that they should have chose. Now they realizing that they was real immature. They acted like a straight up child, no matter even if they was an adult. They acted like they was a spoiled ass child. Well, judgment is always coming. Judgment is always going to be here. You're always going to hear that horn blown. Now they're realizing, don't nobody like nothing spoiled. They don't want no spoiled milk. They don't want no spoiled meat. They don't want spoiled fish, spoiled eggs. They don't want spoiled nothing, and they don't like spoiled ass people. Because it all stinks. It's all going to make you sick. And they realize they were spoiled. Now they sitting here watching you, making your money. The one thing that they said you was never going to reach, they're watching you reach this and more. Now they sitting here thinking, why didn't I give, my mama the credit? Why didn't I be by her side whenever I see now she was working on God's team, not the fucking devil's team? They so worried about which football team or basketball team or baseball team they was rooting for. They wanted them to win. They wanted them to win. They was sitting there, oh, did you see that? And the referee, he called that. That was a foul call that the referee said. And that referee need to be fired. And da-da-da-da-da. And then that coach need to be kicked off. And da-da-da-da. And they need to get rid of such and such and such. They was worried about those teams, but they forgot about your team. They forgot about your team. And they allowed this wizard, this warlock, this somebody they thought was a leader to come in and lie on you. They sat there and listened to, they sat there and they listened to somebody lie on you. But the whole time, whenever you were sitting here building yourself up, building up your company, getting your company to the point where you was the boss, you the CEO, you the one wearing the crown, and now they see how strong you had to be to go through everything that you went through, how you decided to take a different path than to be hanging out with these goony goo goo motherfucking crew. It's a big difference. It's a huge difference. Hey, Wingseer. Hi, Andy Watson. How are you? Now they sitting here wondering if what they got and what they gave up, was it even worth it? Was it anywhere near worth it? I'm thinking that the answer is no. Because as long as they can remember, you was always encouraging them. You was always trying to do the damn thing. You was always taking care of them. You was always trying to make a better way and provide a better day. You was always telling them, I want your life to be so much better than what I had. I want to help you get to the pinnacle. I want to help you be a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire. And did they ever think about, after all the love and support that you gave to them, that they needed to give something back to you? No. Like you never needed anything. You didn't gave it all to them. You poured it all into them, and they never, ever, ever, not one time thought that they should actually try to pour into you too. But it's okay. It's quite all right. You don't need it anymore because God is blessing you. God has given you everything that you want, everything that you need, everything. Because you came and you laid it at God's feet. You said, you know what? You're going to give me everything that you want me to have, Lord. And I want you to take care of this person too. Help them to open up their eyes. Help them to see the light. But I just ask, dear God, that you take care of them. I don't want them to lose their job. I don't want them to be homeless. I don't want this for them. I don't want that for them. Please keep the devil away from them. And God said, let me take care of that. Because I got something to teach them. They're going to learn today. See, now this person is thinking about all that gossiping, all those lies, all those untruths, all this manipulation, all this bullshit that they were saying about you. It put them in a position where it's hard for them to come back. And then they want to extend the olive branch. Yes, they are afraid that you're going to be like, well, I'm not understanding. Because at first I wasn't good enough to kiss the bottom of your shoe, but now you saying, well, you need a pair of shoes? I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. See, they allow themselves to be bamboozled by a warlock. And they thinking that I didn't see them in no warlock clothes. I didn't see no cape with, no, what is that anagram, pentagram, whatever that thing is called. I ain't see them with this. I didn't see them carrying no magical stick around. I didn't see them doing all this because we in the 2025, damn near 2026. People don't dress like that no more. Warlocks are not trying to be out there like that. Not to see out there like that. And we don't call them warlocks. We call them narcissists. Now somebody wants to come and apologize to you because they see that, you know what? Yes, you are an empress. And how dare them say or that you was anything but. And they so sad because they gave up that whole family situation. You didn't. You never left them. They left you. They left you emotionally. They left you financially until the point where you just had to leave them physically to let them on their journey to learn what they needed to learn. And it's been rough. They ain't had no easy time. It has been rough. And everything that they thought that you was going to have to go through, no, you was good. You ain't going through nothing. You're stable. You sleep good at night. God said, get in this boat. Let's get you out of these rough waters. Let's get you some dry clothes on and stop crying. Don't cry. Dry your eyes. Those are the only words I know for that song. And the truth is, they know you know the truth. That's why you had to leave them to find their own way. And whenever you left them to find their own way, then that's when they realized how many lies they had believed and how many lies they told and where those lies was getting them. That's why they sleeping out in the cold. So now somebody wants to send you a message. Like I said, they hoping that you respond. And if you do respond, they're hoping that you respond with compassion, with empathy. And you will. Because you know what it's like to have somebody turn their back on you. to have somebody look down on you, to have somebody speak negatively about you, you know, and that's just not you. See, if anything, they're going to remember that you are chosen. There's not a lot of us out here, and we lead by example. We're not going to jump in that fire for them just to leave us down there when we help them to get out. But we are going to show them compassion. We are going to have empathy. We are going to all graciously and truly pray for this person while this person figures their life out, while this person gets the psychological or counseling that they need, so that they can, while this person works on their own esteem, their own confidence. All right, y'all. I'm going to leave it right there. Hey, Jesky. Hey, Melissa. How are y'all? All right, y'all. I have to go to work. It's Monday morning. And we'll see each other this evening, okay? J. Mike, thank you so much. Andy, you are going to make it through. Okay? You just believe. Have some faith. And ask God for assistance, guidance, and protection. All right, y'all. I'll see you this evening. I love y'all. Please like if you didn't have an opportunity to like. And we'll see each other this evening. Have a great day. Bye now.